Members of the board. From Boardroom Productions, it's Boardroom Banter. Featuring your chairman of the board, David.
What is happening, everybody?
Chief Mayhem Officer, Derek.
Yo, 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 what is up?
And myself, Greg, your Chief of Obscurity. The following content is explicit. Discretion is advised.
Welcome, everybody, to Boardroom Banter. My name is David. To my left is Derek.
What is up?
And to my right tonight is Mr. Greg.
That's me.
Hope everybody has had a great week. Here to start the weekend off the right way. If you like what we have, please like, share, subscribe, comment, do whatever on whatever platform it is that you are on. We appreciate it all. As a second course to it, this episode is not brought to you by Boardroom Banter Ale. You will find it nowhere. It is exclusive to Boardroom Banter.
Yeah, you won't find it in stores.
Maybe one day our board members out there can taste the deliciousness that is Boardroom Banter.
No, they can't.
Ale.
You know, I actually look forward to that. Maybe.
I think it would be great if one day they could.
Yeah.
But, you know.
I want to keep it a secret forever.
Well, if they find out how good it is, it may make it less available to us.
It's like the whole Zin shortage that fucking happened a couple months ago. Like, we tell everybody what it is.
Yep.
We go to the store, we can't fucking get it. Then we have to get other fucking brands that you don't really want, aren't as good, don't really do the job.
But it is it is the unofficial sponsor of Boardroom Banter.
Boardroom Banter, where we don't give a shit about your opinion.
We don't really fucking care.
Yep.
Nope.
We
Pretty
care
much.
about what we say.
We do. But we still want to hear what you have to say.
Absolutely.
It's just whether or not we're going to acknowledge it.
We might roast you, we might not.
Yeah.
We might let you stew on it.
I mean, for me, and I'm not speaking for my other colleagues here, but for me,
Colleagues.
only
It's so fucking professional. That's weird.
only respond if I feel like you may be, listening kind of person. The kind of person who might make a vague, at least, attempt to understand your perspective.
Okay.
If
but see,
words, because I don't like what you said, then I'm not going to waste my
Probably
time.
the same person that sits on the scanner page all day.
Tattletaling on you if you light a firework a minute after the cutoff time.
Yeah.
Bro, me and another person at work today were watching kids fucking like rip it on some fucking cams in the parks in the ice and snow.
Yeah.
And we were both like, I hope they don't get told on, but that's why the video was up. Oh, you can't be fucking ripping your cars in the ice and
So
snow
stupid.
here or doing this
If it's
and
an
that.
empty
Like,
parking lot, who gives a
Yeah,
shit?
that's how they learn, actually.
you're
God.
the reason why the kids play video games and don't fucking stop,
Dude,
okay?
my favorite thing
Yeah.
back in the day, do you remember they called it sledding? If you had a front wheel drive car, did you ever hear about that one?
Oh, yeah.
You run to like McDonald's or wherever else when they had the big old thick plastic trays back in the day at fast food restaurants, and you'd grab a bunch of those and you jam it underneath the back tires of your car if you had front wheel drive, rip the e-brake, and dude, literally, you would sled around the parking lot.
That sounds pretty fucking cool.
It was fun as shit.
McDonald's probably
You
wouldn't have had a
lot,
play
though,
zone
'cause
if I
you would,
did that.
You would burn through those. You'd burn through those trays pretty quick, but
Yeah.
it was fun as shit.
Yeah, and you know what? I feel like those of us who, albeit maybe a dangerous decision, those of us who went about it in a at least thoughtful way probably are better drivers,
Dude,
than
so-
those who never have experienced what it's like
Hey,
to
it teaches
lose
you how to drive
control.
in snow. I'll tell you that.
I
much.
grew up with so much fucking snow my whole life. Like, that was one thing we didn't do. We did a lot of stupid shit. Just like I was telling my kid, like, good for him that he doesn't have to play King of the Hill. Do you guys remember playing King of the Hill?
Yep.
Where
Oh,
the
yeah.
school parking lot would, like, take all the snow into one corner and you would just fucking fight over...
Yeah.
How dangerous was that? When you look back, how many times did you crack your head in the fucking ice? I know I did. And then you were just done. You're like, okay, I'm not king. I'm done. I'm done for the day. And then you went back at it the next recess.
Yep.
What happened to Billy? He separated his clavicle in the second round, but he plans to be back for the fourth.
Oh, bro, kids got fucked up in
Yeah.
King of the Hill.
It built character.
Absolutely.
That's all it did.
I've got a really fond memory of back where I grew up. This was shortly after my wife and I met. I don't know, probably a year or two into our relationship, we got just a dumping winter. I mean, it just snowed all winter long, relentlessly. And so all that stuff was compact snow and ice on the roads. I mean, just treacherous.
The good stuff.
So, gosh, was it I think it was one of those foam sleds that almost looks like a giant skateboard deck. But through a tow strap on the back of my father-in-law's truck, and we were legit up and down the roads hooky bopping for, I don't know, a couple hours till he bounced me off a chain link fence at a local baseball field. He stopped the truck. He's like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" And I was good. I mean, I'm, big fat guy, so I was impressed by the distance.
It was like a fucking Mario Kart fucking effect.
Yeah, it was like
Even one of the sounds.
It was like Andre the Giant when he runs over to the ropes and the whole ring leans one way real quick and then just teleports him off real fast.
Bro, if you would have got caught, you would have had to buy him a fence.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't hurt the fence,
I
thankfully.
doubt.
No, it didn't hurt the fence.
To this day, that fence still tells stories.
Still says what it withstood.
Well, I mean, this was some years ago, guys. I was
Young
lighter.
kids at the baseball diamond. They're like, "Wow, look at that!
I was
Look
in
at
my-
that, like,
I was in my
crater in that
20s.
fence.
Yeah.
What did happen to that? How did that happen?"
Many moons ago, there was a man. This man was comprised of several men lumped into
Now, if
one.
that happened today, you
God.
wouldn't be walking for about 3 weeks.
No, I'd get medevac to some major city for some crazy reconstructive surgery.
Bro, and then the embarrassing things, like I remember being like in fucking grade school, right? And like we wore fucking snowsuits. Did you have the snowsuits
Oh,
too?
yeah.
The fucking overalls, everything. And I remember this kid, he was a little special. I don't know, Robert Orr. I'm going to say his name because I don't fucking know if that guy is even alive, and I doubt he listens to this podcast. But I remember him. We were in like fucking second grade, and he was like, "You know my favorite part about winter?" I'm like, "What?" He's like, wearing these snowsuits, and he falls down in the snow. He's like, "You can pee and nobody knows." I might really realize. Oh yeah,
Meister or any piss sickles you pissed out. Pulled out of the inside.
This
of your
kid already
socks.
knows, bro. So in fourth grade, he shit his pants in front of a fan in class. So like we're sitting there and like
intentionally. Wait, I have questions.
so like I said, he was a little weird.
He was out there. Okay.
But like seriously, so like we're sitting in Miss Nebaker's class.
That's a cool name.
I'm fucking looking back and like we all know a poop face when you see one. Like we've all seen a 2 or 3 year old like fucking pinch one off.
Little Robbie's very focused,
bro. And then all of a sudden it smelled so fucking bad, and like he was right in front of the fan, and he puts his head down on his desk. And then one of my other buddies was like, "I think Robert shit his pants," and like the whole like you know how like in elementary schools like. One hall is like your fourth grade. One hall's like your fifth grade. Our whole fourth grade hall got evacuated, bro. Like we had to go out of the class, like go over to the other side of the school.
Biohazard.
Pink eye ran rampant.
They got the
months.
yellow suits coming out and shit.
Bro, I'm going to say it doesn't matter where you're at in life. That guy's going to be 27 years old, and it's going to be like, "Oh, Robert Orr, you shit your pants in fourth grade." I remember that.
I knew somebody who never potty trained. And still at the age of 7, they still shit their pants.
That's a feat.
It really is. Like, how do you not know that sensation by the age of 7?
Is that the same?
I think it was just laziness by that time.
Well, I mean, actually, it depends. Not to get too deep on it, but that could actually it's a telltale sign of that person could be on the spectrum in some ways. That's one of the struggles.
Who knows?
Here's another one. Were you guys
before you
okay?
Keep that thought.
I'm keeping this
I have a taster for you guys real fast. I want to open this up and we can continue that story real fast. So, small little taster for you guys. Derek, you're going to hate it. Greg, you're going to love it.
It's wintertime. I might not hate it. Come on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's called a Baltic Porter.
Interesting.
I like me some porters and I like me some stouts.
Is it from the sea? Inspired by the sea?
It is inspired by the sea.
I like me some Puerto Ricans.
It has a buoy on it.
I see that.
A very
It looks like a
large
legit sea buoy.
Yeah, very, very large buoy on this thing. Sitting at a whopping 8.6.
Mm-hmm. That's
and
a dank beer.
for Greg, even though I really don't understand it fully, 35 IBUs.
Okay, so the IBU measures the
It sounds like
bitter.
a shot I'm getting in the fucking
No,
hospital. Like, how many IBUs you need, bro?
The IBU measures how bitter the finish is. So Your danker IPAs have an IBU, 60, 70, upwards of 80 if it's like 10% alcohol by volume. So at 30 IBU, it should be pretty crisp and not very bitter, if at all.
So they are noting it with, it is a Pilsner Munich chocolate and caramel.
Okay, yeah.
Their description on this is actually interesting. It is lagered to balance malt, notes of coffee, filberts, and bittersweet chocolate.
What's a fucking filbert?
This porter is as deep and smooth
filbert
as the Baltic Sea.
Balls, sexy. But
See
what's
how she
a
sounds.
filbert?
See how she sounds.
That
Not
sounds
bad.
like a proper beer.
That's a proper can right there. All right.
Boardroom banter crack better.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's
It
no
does.
comparison. Apples and oranges.
And for a porter,
That's creamy looking.
it's pretty light looking as well. Most
Yeah.
porters are as black as night.
Right. That looks like a deep amber, like a dark amber.
It looks more like a really hard ale
Yeah.
to me. But I think you...
Ooh, baby, I like it raw.
here you go, Derek. We'll give you a little bit
baby,
more
I
there.
like it raw.
A little bit more there.
Jerk McGurk.
A little bit more there.
McGurk.
All right. So I hope you still have that thought in your head of what you're
Dude.
going to talk about.
It was just,
Anyways, gentlemen,
I'm not swishing it in my mouth.
She passes the sniff test.
it definitely
That's
passes
the
sniff
number
test.
one. Have you had anybody call you out on that before?
What?
Sniff test.
We'll get
Did
on.
you just
We'll
do the
get
sniff test?
onto that
Yeah, that's-
later. Detecting some like coffee in there. It
Little
almost
coffee.
tastes coffee.
I taste the coffee
Yeah.
and filbert.
Yeah, it must be Filbert
That
coffee.
filbert coffee.
I don't want to know what Filbert did to this beer,
No.
but whatever it is, Filbert, it's
No.
okay.
Yeah, you did well.
Yeah.
See, I'll say that's pretty good. So I'm not
Wow.
a dark beer guy, but when it's wintertime, it's cold
Okay.
out, it's
Okay.
the certain setting,
Okay.
I'll fuck with it.
All right.
I'll fuck with it.
I'm
The filbert in
surprised.
this one was very good.
I was really expecting Derek to
No, in the middle of the summer, bro, I'm
Yeah.
going to fucking spit it out. That's
give
just
us
how I
that
am.
face. That face of
You didn't even see that face, did you?
disgustingness. No, not tonight.
That was,
I'm surprised. But it's
it's chilly.
It's not your typical porter is where I'm getting.
It's not as heavy.
No.
No, I could sip on this by the fire.
Oh yeah.
It's more like a consistency of an IPA, to be honest. Like,
It's crisp for a porter.
it's a heavy.
yeah, not like
to me.
taste like, but I'm just saying like the
Yeah.
thickness.
It's more of a heavy ale to me.
Yeah.
Like a really heavy ale versus porter, which porters, I mean, you're not getting any like the hickories. Like porters have a lot of like hickory and like other fucking weird flavors.
This is the color of like an amber bock.
Exactly. It's
I
not
met her.
Well,
But
and
it
it's
is-
very crisp. It's not like super milky and creamy and thick like it would need nitrous versus CO2.
Yeah. It's a delicious beer, especially at 8.4. You have a couple of those, you feel
good.
good. You warm up real quick with this one. I'll put it that way.
Well,
Especially if you drink it like that.
as far as porters go, I'm going to give this guy a 9 out of 10 for porters for me.
A porter, yeah. I can, yeah. Have you ever had a Black Butte porter?
Had plenty of Black Butte in my day. Black Butte's tasty.
Have you had Black Butt?
No, sir.
Oh, we're going to
Yeah.
have him try a Black Butt.
Black
that's-
Butte's pretty good.
that's-
It's kind of similar to this.
It's the most friendly porter you can drink.
What is back in the day? I used to really like. Were they Fat Boys?
Oh,
Fat Tire.
Fat Tires.
Tire.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
That's
those
an amber.
Those
Yeah,
okay.
that's an amber. And that's what I mean by
more, yeah.
the color and
Yeah.
consistency of this.
It's more like a Fat Tire to me, kind of.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's a little milkier.
Yeah.
Little milkier.
Yeah.
but I can fuck with it because I used to fuck with the Fat Tires a lot.
Amen.
much more coffee flavor in
Yes, and Filbert.
Well, 9 out of 10. I drink it again. Not doing a 6-pack, 3 or 4
this.
maybe.
Oh God, no. The hangover the next day if you drink
Oh,
a
yeah.
sixer of that.
This is the highest I'll give it. I'll give it a 6, which is high for me with a beer, right?
Okay.
That's dark. Like I'll fuck with it like during the winter if it's cold.
I
Like
think, you know what? If he kind of likes that, I think he would really like a Black Butte.
Yeah, we should do that sometime.
That's-
Put it on the list.
I will.
How about all of you viewers, listeners, fans, whatever you want to call yourself?
Yeah.
board
How about
members.
you pop in the comments, board members, and let us know if you have a beer you want us to taste. If there's something out there you can't live without, and it
Yeah.
cressens
Let us
your
know.
lips.
We'll try and find it and taste it here on air.
But if it tastes like ass and none of us like it,
We're
like,
gonna call you out.
you might as well hit the dislike button.
Yeah.
because you're not. Yeah,
We're gonna dislike it all over your
We're
face.
beer connoisseurs.
Hey, here's the thing. Saying something tastes like ass anymore nowadays,
It's a good thing.
it's kind of a weird one to try and say anymore because there's a lot of people that eat ass out there.
Whose ass are we talking about?
I don't know, but if you say it tastes like ass, and there's going to be that guy who says, I love fucking tasting ass.
Dude, there's some people that take care of their ass. Like Kesha back in the day, she used to fucking drink gold flakes. So when she pooped, there was gold like flakes floating around in her poop. That's pretty legit, dude. Like that's a lot of commitment.
Oh my god.
That's a 24 karat gold she used to fucking drink.
All the more
and with
reason
the
you
poop, the
shouldn't
poop
eat
out
ass.
gold like
Wow.
gold flakes. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
I would have never have known.
Bringing on the next thing that I was going to talk about before.
Yes, I'm sorry.
This kid too, and I know we all had one of these in our elementary schools that fucking went on to adulthood doing this. But how weird was it when you went to the boys' room and there was that motherfucker with his pants down to his ankles? Peeing in the urine, like
Yeah, that was always really awkward.
You know, I actually saw that about 4 months ago at a public restroom.
No, you didn't.
An old timer had his fucking pants down to his thighs.
oh man.
He was like, "Oh,
See, it's like
well, hello there."
old people. You almost got a hall pass for it.
Yeah, that wasn't no, the one that, and this is why I don't fucking shit in public restrooms, is you'd had the fucking kids in grade school
That would go over the stall?
that fucking hop stalls on you when you're taking a shit.
Oh yeah,
That's why I can't
Never had that happen.
Yeah.
I like to poop in privacy.
Yeah, no, I had that happen plenty to me in fucking grade school, and that's why I can't shit in a public restroom anymore.
I'm
I have
weird.
to be at home.
I'm weird about pooping, bro. Like so,
I will hold it.
I'll be in there. I'll be, enjoying my free time, my time. And then my significant other there will fucking try talking to me. Fuck you.
Oh,
Don't
that's a rule
talk
in our
to me
home.
through the door.
Yeah.
Mine
Don't
doesn't.
even say anything to me. Like my kid will come by and start talking to me. And I'm like, this is my time.
Won't do any of that because I go upstairs. My daughter now, she knows my routine, so she knows as soon as I finish my coffee, I go upstairs, and then
Oh, you're one of those guys too?
Oh yeah, as soon as I finish my coffee, that's the next spot I go.
I pulled a David the other day.
and my daughter like comes running over to the fucking baby gate. She's like, "Have a nice poop."
Bro, I had a poop so bad the other day at work, I pulled a U.
Yeah,
I live so close now. It's like
Exactly.
2 minutes away.
It's beautiful.
Nobody even knew I was gone.
it's a beautiful.
I
thing.
went and dropped the deuce, fucking left, came back, and they're like,
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah, I've done that where my wife, she looks at me and I walk through the door. She's like, what are you doing here? I was like, I got to take a shit. Go upstairs, take a shit. I'm like, all right, babe, I'll see you later.
I just came to drop some shit off.
Yeah.
Okay, especially in our place of work, how many people come through there? How many customers? And there's one bathroom
disgusting.
with there's not even a urinal in it. Urinal in there.
disgusting.
There is
Yeah.
one toilet.
I don't
that everybody sits on, and every old man, like, there's so much piss on the floor
Yeah.
in front of the toilet. Like, how can you even sit there with your shoes?
There's times when I take a piss, I will stand on the opposite side of the toilet so I'm
Yeah.
not standing in piss.
Yeah.
Or flip the toilet seat up with my foot.
Same.
Oh yeah. Who touches that shit with their hands?
Yeah, no, I don't touch that shit. No.
Every once in a while, I'll use the executive suite, but
There's always
that's when no one's there. See, and that's the thing. I'll use
Yeah.
the executive suite
how
in the
is that?
back. In the back.
Oh, the back. Yeah.
in the back.
yeah.
But that's only when no one's there.
that one's usually cleaner.
That's about from 5:30 and beyond. I'll
Yeah.
use that back there.
That's pretty. Yeah.
But if it's anywhere before that, I come home. Sorry, just can't do it. I there's just something about shitting in a public restroom. I don't even care if that's a locked room.
Well, I'll be honest with you. Every time because there has been times, dude, like if I haven't taken that shit in Walmart or fucking Target or somewhere, but I still have that fear of I look up at the top corner of it to see if somebody's gonna fucking come and
look at you.
No, these kids were ruthless in
They were.
fucking elementary school. They would hop up and be like, "Oh, look at your weenie," and
Yeah.
like all this
All
other stuff.
sorts of
For, like,
shit, dude.
I'd be like, "Bro, I'm
Thank you.
taking a poop." Like,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was
somebody else
fucking
knows
horrible.
the fucking struggle of that one.
Oh yeah. We all look awkward when we're taking
But-
a shit. Why'd you just call me out on it, bro?
Working on an ambulance for as many years as I did, you have a lot of training with holding shit.
oh,
yeah.
I'm sure.
So I'm
Oh, yeah.
like there's times, dude, where I will like my wife's never seen it, but there will be times where I'm like, and I'll no one could see it on because we're not on camera, but I'll be like,
Have you ever
do one of those.
Stiff legging it.
And no, it's like you're fucking like squeezing your whole body
yeah.
together. Just
It's
and,
like an-
sitting straight up, and you're like squeezing your whole body together. You're like, oh,
It's
fuck,
like an-
fuck,
And you got the cramps that
and then
accompany
it like and then it like goes away, and you're like,
It's like an inverted XL.
Yeah,
It's,
it's like you're in labor.
it's There we go. That's what I was going to get at.
I've had those
it's
shits
like
before.
It's like you're in contractions,
Yeah,
Bro, it's
Yeah.
fucking ruthless.
And
I tell you what,
Have you ever prairie dogged it and have it touched your
No.
pants and then come back up?
No.
That's
I mean,
a fucking
nothing.
feat.
I've never had that. I did, however, have a firefighter one time when we were on call. That happened to him. He couldn't hold it anymore, and he shit in his fucking turnouts.
Oh, that poor guy.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet that was terrible.
That sucked.
So which hose did they use to clean
It went in his
him?
boots too, huh?
Boy.
They never let it down.
Everything.
They
Oh,
never
no.
that whole station
Oh,
for
God.
the rest. Yeah, they never let that down.
Bless your soul. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. So,
Could you imagine who had to
but
clean?
I mean,
he had to
dude,
clean
that's
his
the
own
thing though. When
turnouts.
you're in a profession like that, I mean, there's a time when you can be mid fucking piss. You get a call. You got to stop that piss
Dude, you know what I think of?
or finish it real quick.
What about the dudes that are doing the fucking Indy 500? Or like those NASCAR drivers? Like, they're pissing in their car.
No, they
like,
have to.
What if you have to shit? Are you fucking pooping your pants?
well-
like, if you're Jeff Gordon and you're fucking on the final turn and you're fucking at the top of your career and you're not losing this fucking match, or Dale Earnhardt,
figure,
and you're fucking going and you're shifting this car and your fucking both feet are moving, you're pooping, bro.
Well,
You're not holding it.
I was gonna say, you look at marathon runners or even like Tour de France guys.
Some of them have shit their pants.
Yeah, I mean, marathon,
Yeah.
they shit all the time. And then even like Tour de France guys, because of the miles that they're biking, they shit their pants. I guarantee they do
No
it inside a
shame
fucking
in the
car.
game.
No.
No fucking shame in
They
the
probably
game.
wear adult diapers.
I would imagine some of them wear adult
I
diapers.
hope to God if they're shitting themselves, they're wearing.
It's just something to think
adult
about. I mean,
diapers.
I guarantee you it probably happens. Dude, even football. There's
Oh,
guys that
yeah.
have shit and piss themselves in football.
do you know
Well,
who's
that's the
probably
juice.
shitting their pants right now?
You know?
Travis Kelce just paid $3 million again for a fucking suite for Taylor Swift.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
Again, there was
For the-
So
there was
for
a
the
first time and now there's a
Super
second
Bowl.
time.
So last year, I think it was more of, they were in the romancing stage of things,
I
and
don't,
he was
I don't
like,
get why he's paying. She makes way more
she
money
makes
than
way
him.
more money, but it was known. Did you read? I read news articles saying that he paid for it last year, and that he's going to have to come up and pay for it this
Wait,
year.
Last year, huh?
Well,
Yeah.
guys,
So is he saying that he knew that he was going to be in the Super Bowl again this year?
Well, so he
is
hasn't
our-
bought the suite until they made it to the Super Bowl, but that's why it's a $3 million fucking suite.
Okay. I'm just saying.
Maybe there could be some
was he
conspiracy in that
little
shit, too.
foreshadowing going on there. That
There
he's
could
like,
be.
hey, we're going to be back here next year, so I'll just get this now.
I mean, if they have a three-peat, do they make history?
Yeah, we'll never see it again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So 95% of my being wants to see them lose, but that 5% wants me to see them win just because we will never in our lifetime see another three-peat
No, we won't.
in football ever again.
No.
So there is that little bit of me that wants to see him
This
win.
is better than even the fucking. We had golden eras when we grew up. We had Steve Young, Jerry Rice, Joe Montana. We had fucking
all of them.
beasts in fucking football, and
Yeah.
we're seeing this right now.
Yeah, you had your fucking John Elways and Peyton Man, all those guys.
I've got one for our
Deion
board members.
Sanders.
I've got one for our board
even
members.
the GOAT, Tom Brady, couldn't pull
well,
off a
hang
three-peat.
on. I want to touch on this Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce point.
Oh boy,
You guys are missing the fact that even though she is one of the richest people in the world, she probably still wants to be rizzed up every once in a while.
I would imagine.
I mean, you
so.
still got to pay for dates if you're the man, even if you're both filthy
You know,
rich.
yeah,
you know.
that's true.
Girl, it's probably why he got with her. Most of those girls that are at that fucking like held it as standard like that, like most dudes aren't ever going to go up to him and ask him
No.
out or take him on a date.
And the
or
guy has no shame.
Take him to dinner, do
We-
this or that.
We've
Probably
all heard
very
him sing.
intimidated. Yeah.
We've all heard him sing live.
Yeah.
So no shame.
No shame.
No shame.
Him and his brother are funny as fuck.
Oh yeah, they are actually.
Their podcast is pretty good.
Yeah,
their
it is.
podcast's pretty good.
It is.
Yeah.
It is good to listen.
We're giving you a shout out.
yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's just, I mean, so I got one for the board members. Who do you think's going to be in this suite alongside Taylor Swift that's not family of Travis or her? So we're not talking about any of the Kelseys. We're not talking
Well,
about
for
her
sure,
family.
You're going to see Brittany Mahomes in there.
That's family.
Which is-
That's no. That's
is that family?
No, that's you. You can't. Let's not talk about anybody in the Super Bowl. What other celebrity? Because she's had celebrities there every year.
She had Caitlin Clark earlier.
She had Blake Lively. She's been gone through a lot of shit.
Yeah.
in tabloids.
My understanding is that they've kind of cut each other off.
Yeah, but
my wife's up on that one.
I'm just saying. So there's been many. She has had people there, but now Donald Trump's saying that he's going to be there.
Yeah,
is he going to be in their suite?
Fuck no.
No, he's going to have his own suite.
He's going to have his own floor.
But I'm just saying, who do you think's going to be in her suite with her?
Well, she had a couple weeks back. She had Caitlin Clark in their suite together, and that was that's the big WNBA prodigy player that's come over and everything like that.
Yeah.
But no, definitely Trump won't be in there. He's going to have his own fucking whole. It's the first time though a sitting president has ever gone to the Super Bowl.
I'm surprised, man. When he's already been, there's already been 2 assassination attempts on him, and he's going to a fucking Super Bowl.
The thing was, I thought he went in his first term. I could have swore I thought he went, but I guess not.
I know he goes to a lot of UFC.
Oh yeah, he's big.
He loves UFC.
He's big. Well, dude,
Yeah.
he helped launch the UFC back in the day.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
When no one else would actually host a UFC
Yeah.
event, Trump was like, hey, have it up here when he was running Atlantic City freaking casinos and stuff.
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah, have it here. Fine, That's little things that people don't know about.
No. And it's...
If it wasn't for Trump, the UFC would not be what it is today.
But and that's why you see him at those sporting events. But like you said, I don't know if he's been into Super Bowl, if he...
I could have swore his first term I thought he had went to one, but
if you took his son to an NBA basketball game, though, that guy they'd ask him to play.
Oh, dude, Barron is
Yeah.
tall.
So I was talking.
I don't know, like
he's
back in
6'7", 6'8" right now.
Yeah, he's like 6'7", 6'8", and dude, when Trump first got elected, he was I think 5'8".
No, he was
5'10",
6'1",
like
6'2",
Oh, he
even
was
at like
back then?
11.
Okay, I thought he was like
even at like 11.
I thought
dude,
he was like 5'8", 5'10" at that
Kid's
time.
been a beast his whole life. So I watched a little thing about it, like his whole life. So even his first presidency term, he was like 6 something. But
boy, oh boy, he's a spitting image of his old man.
Oh man, he's
Isn't he,
fucking
though?
huge.
Yeah.
Though.
You look at young of Trump's or pictures of young Trump,
Like his Oprah interview.
oh god,
Yeah.
He 100% looks like his old man.
Mm-hmm.
But
It's
that
crazy.
kid's fucking
With more
tall, man. Like holy fuck.
Tall. Yeah, he definitely could play some ball if he wanted to.
Don't take him to an NBA game. They'll probably fucking pull him out on the court.
They draft
Probably.
him. They draft him. They're like, here, fucking post up on a fucking Okempo.
And he's only like, how old is he? He's like 18,
17, 18 years
17,
old.
18. He's fucking a beast.
Yeah. Fucking huge.
Yeah.
They'd have him guard Wemby. They're like, no one else can guard him. Get him.
Now.
No, so I thought that was pretty interesting. Fuck, that's a lot of money for a suite at the Super Bowl.
It is. I can't believe that it's already going to be this Sunday.
Dude.
I mean, we're just a couple days away.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's coming. It's going to be here.
the acceleration of time.
Get your fucking side bets in. Get your bets in.
I'm a little bummed about it. Not gonna lie, I was really hoping it was going to be Detroit this year, but Washington, my God, fucking Jaden Daniels, dude, kid's a beast for a rookie.
Yeah.
Rookie QB and goes all the way up into the conference basically, and
Yep.
well, not basically, he went to the conference.
Went to the conference.
But boy, oh boy, they got slaughtered. Fucking got slaughtered by fucking Philly, man. It was bad.
Which I'm going to give it to Patrick Mahomes, too. Like, that guy's a fucking beast out there, man. Like, even under pressure, under everything,
know.
like, that dude is dialed.
My wife was asking me tonight. She's like, is like Kansas City actually like a good team? I'm like, no, I was like, yes, they are a very fucking good team.
Yeah, they have a good crew right now. Unfortunately, that only lasts so long usually.
Unfortunately, it's going to be, I mean, especially if it's a third Super Bowl win, I don't see a lot of this team staying together. Like, they're going to get such big payouts to go to different places.
Well, there's been
Travis
rumors.
might fucking retire
Yeah,
after
and
this
that's
year.
the thing. Like, Travis may retire. Mahomes ain't ever leaving. They're never going to get rid of Andy Reid. And I've always loved Andy Reid.
But it's hard to get a true dynasty going.
I used to be a Philly fan back in the day when Donovan McNabb and Andy Reid were that, you know, when they lost by 3 fucking points to Tom Brady and the New England Patriots at the Super Bowl.
When Donovan McNabb was selling Campbell's soup.
Yes. God.
Chunky Campbell's soup.
Those were good fucking commercials,
They had
though.
Brian Dawkins on D. I don't know if you remember Brian Dawkins. That dude was like 5'10" of just fucking pure muscle. He was probably 6 foot something, but the guy was so
He was
yoked.
the definition of a shit brick house.
Dude was so yoked, man.
house.
But Yeah, it's just one of those things. And I even told the wife, I was like, even Patrick Mahomes, he looks so unassuming, but the fucking arm that guy has, it's so weird.
I'm sorry, after football, basketball gets more amplified, and that's what I'm excited for.
Well, unfortunately, if they could ever just scale back the 3-point shot a little bit more, I'd probably watch more. It's harder for me to watch because literally all they do is just dribble. As soon as they cross half court, they're either throwing it up right there or they just get to the top of the key and throw it up.
Every sport's change in their little way, though.
A little bit.
Every single one of them.
Although this whole Luka trade, fucking...
I didn't hear about that.
Dude, that's like the biggest talk in the NBA, right? Dude, the Mavs fucking dumped Luka over to the Lakers for Anthony Davis.
What?
Yeah.
Davis is fucking washed up. Why would they do that?
They dumped him for another guy and a 2029 first round pick. That's all they got.
2029
they
first
fucking
pounder?
They traded Luka for AD, another guy, and a 2029 first round pick. That is all they got.
They traded AD to the Lakers years ago for a bunch of shit. He never produced anything since then.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Like,
what the fuck?
They could have gotten the house. They could have robbed the entire bank.
Do you think LeBron wanted him?
I don't know. No, because even LeBron's like, I didn't fucking... Dude, there's videos of NBA players sitting on the bench with their fucking cell phones. Sitting on the bench. They got a video of KD sitting there, and you just see him doing like this number, like looking around, like what the fuck face, every time he looked down at his phone, and then he's scrolling and he'd look back up at his buddies, like what the fuck.
Wow,
dude, it's a robbery. Like it is a heist of heists that's
huge.
The Mavs got rid of a generational player over to the Lakers.
Are they struggling for money?
Nothing. For nothing.
What's AD's contract they're carrying over with that?
Not enough. But and the other thing is Luka's contract is coming up to sign at Supermax this year. So the rumor is because I don't know if you've noticed, Luka's gotten a little pudgier over the years.
Oh, he had to lose some weight this year.
So, and that's the rumor is that they offloaded him because they feel like he's going to become a Zion Williamson of just blowing up, getting injury prone and not producing.
Yeah.
And so they're like, well, before we sign him to the Supermax, let's just punt him over there.
I did read an article though that he is concerned about that lately and that he has dropped some weight.
Yeah. But
well,
still,
let me ask this, guys.
The guy is a generational talent and you just offloaded him for fucking nothing. Nothing whatsoever. You could have they didn't shop it at all.
Look what the Jazz have done the last few years.
But they didn't shop it. They just kept it hush hush and then did the trade. If they would have shopped that, dude, there are teams that would have given up their whole fucking starting roster to have Luka on that team.
Do you know how much money they just freed up on their fucking...
It's fucking insane. I can't believe that actually happened. Sorry, go ahead, Greg.
No, it's okay. Why is it a 2029 pick?
Because they do stupid shit like that.
It's a first round pick, and I believe in 29 is when they get their first round pick. It's all a lottery system for the most part, but they're guaranteed a first round pick during certain years.
So remember how excited
I don't do recruitment every year in basketball?
They do.
They do.
But so I was excited years ago. Remember when I had Donovan Mitchell on the Utah Jazz? I had Gobert. I had all those players, but they traded them off. And they traded them off for like 6 or 7 first round picks, but it was between like the next 8-9 years.
Yeah.
Well, if I could spread them out amongst years, I can see the point of that.
But they don't even know what's coming in those years.
Yeah. In 29, what? So that would be
4 years.
4 years from now. I mean, unless they're maybe banking on that fucking freshman in Duke right now. I forget his name, but there's this freshman at Duke right now who's like, but I thought he would have gone it. I was figuring he was going to go into the draft like in the next year or so.
Well, it's like the Jazz. They positioned themselves like a year or two ago to have all these first round draft picks, but then you keep seeing the Jazz. They're trading off these first round draft picks for other stupid shit, and it's just, I don't know.
Well, I have to like the Mavs just because of the owner, but I don't really follow basketball. But I know he is a real smart guy. I don't know if he has anything to do with managing his team. Probably not. But
probably not.
I'm trying to find this kid's name.
He's a lucrative motherfucker, though.
Yeah. It seems like a pretty smart guy to me.
He's been on the Shark Tank for a long time.
Yeah.
Cooper Flagg is the kid's name.
I imagine he hires smart people. Hopefully,
Yeah.
That's the prospect, but I don't know if he's gonna. To me, I would think he's going to draft either this year or next year. He's gonna opt for it. He just freshman this year at Duke. So
Well, now they
I
made
would
it for
anticipate.
how many years of college basketball do you have to go before you get
I
drafted?
think you only got to play one.
I think it's 2.
It maybe okay. They may have changed it. I remember. Fuck, it used to be you never had to. I mean, look at Kobe. He was drafted right out of high school.
that was
Kevin Garnett.
no,
those
that-
kind of guys back in the day.
That was the thing, and a few years ago it was a big uproar in the NBA because it was changed to that, to where you could have gotten drafted like exactly like you said. Kobe Bryant came right out of fucking high school and killed it.
Personally, I think I think that they should still allow it. To be honest,
Yeah.
because the miles that those guys throw on themselves during a basketball season, especially because I mean a football season, yes, I mean it's hard on the body, so forth, but it's much less games. Like even college ball, they play a lot of games in college. It's a lot of miles you're putting on yourself. So, I mean, look at LeBron. Do you think if LeBron played 2 to 4 years in college, do you think maybe he would be at the age he is at now?
No.
Potentially in
No.
the NBA? I don't think so.
He's a freak of nature though. He can keep still going too.
That guy could probably play till he's 50. I mean,
Yeah.
the guy is physically gifted. I'm never going to consider him the greatest of all time.
No.
I will say he's the greatest all-around player.
Yeah.
I'll say that. I'll give him that credit.
I'm sorry, but anybody in mine and your age demographic that grew up with Jordan, it wasn't just the stats. It's what that man did for basketball. It's how he progressed.
Then you can try. In my eyes, I think Steph helped ruin the game a little bit.
A little bit, all the threes, man.
It's
Not. It's like you said. That's my one step back with basketball. It's like
there's no ball anymore. It's
you used
just,
to watch these guys, and it was only 70 to 100 point games.
Yeah.
Now it's 150 point games. Like there's,
I like seeing the grind.
yeah.
I want to see.
I like seeing the defense. I like seeing some offensive plays.
You know,
I've liked seeing.
Look at Phil Jackson's fucking triangle offense. Can't do that. You cannot have a triangle offense in today's NBA.
No.
It's impossible.
No, it is.
100%. Like it wouldn't exist in this NBA, and Phil Jackson would be the shittiest coach in the fucking face of the planet.
Any
if
of
he
those-
tried to coach in this era.
Even like Jerry Salone, who was a huge coach when Phil Jackson
Yeah.
was around with the Jazz, like
Oh,
those
God,
two
yeah.
were a lot the same. Like
Yeah.
it wouldn't have worked. Like if you took the Lakers, the Bulls, the Jazz, even back in that era, it just wouldn't have fucking worked. And those were the top teams. Those were
Yeah. And if you tried to stick that in today's, no, it wouldn't be. And it's an unfortunate thing. I mean, yes, everything evolves, whatnot, but I think basketball in itself has kind of evolved for the worse in a lot of ways. I don't really appreciate seeing a rebound, toss it to your guy dribbles it to half court, and then as soon as he crosses the half court line, he's either going to fucking try and skyball one from a logo or just dribble right up to the top of the key and just fucking toss it. I want to see some bully ball. I want to see some passing still. I want to see plays.
Some plays ran.
I want to see some plays, all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. Unfortunately, it's hard for me to watch basketball, but I still will throw it on from time to time, you know, if it's an interesting enough game.
I never really got into basketball too much, which is ironic because I'm a taller guy. But
I was all about, I mean, Blazers, man. It was all about Blazers. I didn't care. Even though the Blazers were a small market team, you had the Jailblazer era, which was freaking awesome when you had
not surprising.
you had Rasheed Wallace, Jermaine O'Neal, fucking oh god, I'd have to get when Derek comes back from his tinkle. Guy's got the babiest bladder in the fucking world.
You know, maybe he hydrates a lot.
He does, you know. But even before the Jailblazer era, you had your Kevin Duckworth, Clyde Drexlers, all those kinds of guys as well. Cliff Robinson, which, dude, Cliffy was the man, bro. I don't care what anyone says. I got his rookie card in my house.
Nice.
You know, I'm pretty stoked on that. But yeah, that was like the ultimate era, though, was the Jailblazer era in my eyes. I don't know. Derek probably remembers them, even though he was a Utah boy.
Who?
The Jailblazer era.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
What about the Detroit Bad Boys too? Like
the
what
Bad
about
Boy era.
What about with fucking when Rodman was with the Pistons
Yeah.
and fucking going
yeah.
off, man?
Yeah.
Like
Everybody had their era.
And then gets overshadowed by
now-
MJ.
I mean, there's
thing
so much
was-
people that did in that era, but I mean, he still for the man that he was in the game that he played, like he was the most worst players to go against. Like that guy was a defensive fucking wizard.
Yeah. And offensive too.
Offensive too. Like that guy just either way.
He could play both ends of the court, which nobody does nowadays.
I mean, you look at somebody overshadowed
Nobody does both ends of the court today.
I think Scottie Pippen too, man. You look at that guy's game compared to Jordan, which he never really got a whole lot, you know.
He gets credit.
He gets credit, but
I mean, that was his wingman though. That was his right-hand man. So that's why he doesn't get that kind of credit because...
I mean, I'm a huge Jazz guy, and the Jazz were the only guys that... Jordan will say that in documentary. Like, they were the only dudes that pushed them.
The Buzz Aldrin to their Neil Armstrong.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
But I mean, dude, when you had fucking Malone and John Stockton...
Jeff Hornacek and...
Well, fucking Hornacek, dude. I forgot all about him.
Yeah, bro.
I mean, dude. Yeah, it was...
You had some fucking beasts.
That was a banger team.
Brian Russell.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Back then, it was something else. But it's just, it's why I have a hard time with it. I mean, you got Ant-Man on the Timberwolves. I'm trying to remember his name now. Don't know why I'm fucking drawing a blank.
Fuck. He
probably because
Kevin Garnett.
No, KD. I mean, you had KD back then, which I got a signed original signed when he got drafted from the NBA Sports Illustrated when he came on the scene. Got one of those, but. Yeah, Garnett was something else.
What about Tim Duncan back day with the Spurs, and who was it? David Robinson too. Those guys were the Twin Towers beasts, dude.
They called it the Twin Towers back in the day, and it was cool that Duncan got over there with Robinson because Robinson taught Duncan.
A lot.
So when he passed the reins, man.
I mean, even back then in basketball, Reggie Miller, some names that are just Anthony Hardaway, like the dudes that played the sport back then.
They were with their teams.
Nowadays, Sean Kemp.
Oh yeah, Sean Kemp, fucking Gary Payton, all
Seattle Supersonics team that doesn't exist anymore.
Who was Jason Kidd?
Well, he was with the Nets for the longest time.
He was with Utah, wasn't he?
No,
Didn't he come out of Utah?
No, he was with the Nets.
Was he with the Suns too?
Suns. I think that was the tail end of his career. But he was with the Nets for the longest part of his career before they became Brooklyn. It was the New Jersey Nets. But nowadays, guy doesn't like his fucking team anymore, and he forces a trade. It's like, come on. Now you're starting to see it in fucking football, which is weird. You're seeing guys now that are fucking trying to force themselves into a trade with football, whereas that never used to be a thing there. But I think a lot of it is bled over from basketball because the basketball guys, they used to stay with, if they got drafted 9 times out of 10, they stayed with their team. 9 times. I mean, like Shaq. Okay, Shaq got bounced around a few times, but it wasn't because of the caliber of player he was.
But look how much time he was at the Lakers, though.
But
with the Magic too.
The Magic,
true.
Laker time, and I think it came down to the Lakers couldn't really pay him that anymore. Correct me if I'm wrong, people in the comments, but I think it was just because they needed to build a team. They knew he was on the tail end of his career. They did not want to pay him that money anymore.
Yeah.
Hey, went over to the Celtics. I think he won a chip over at the Celtics. I know he won a chip down in Miami. Yeah. I think it was down in Miami. I don't think he won one with the Celtics, and then he finished off his career with the Suns.
And there's something that has to do with the franchise too, right? Yeah. Like, look at Jordan when he tried to go to the Hornets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking horrible.
Yep.
Look at Jordan when he tried to go to baseball.
Horrible.
I wish he didn't do that. But, hey, you never know. They could have had a 4-peat.
I wonder if those cards are worth anything.
Not much.
Yeah, I didn't figure.
I mean, they're obviously there's not a lot of them out there.
I bet if you find some of this,
he only did that for about 2 years.
I bet if you find some of the Space Jam basketball cards.
I have some of those.
Oh,
I have Space Jam.
And for a lot of people who don't remember, Space Jam 2 had LeBron James.
Boo.
Yeah, first one was better.
Yeah, first one was way better. Had Bill Murray in it. And everything.
I'll say it, LeBron, you're never going to be Jordan. In my eyes, or anybody in my generation that grew up.
He should have humbled himself about the Jordan topic and allowed his fans to lift him up.
I would go 1, 2, 3 is Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron. That would be my 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're looking at total player perspective, it's not just about your performance for scoring or your performance for
it's what you did for the sport, man.
What you did for the sport and your team.
And I'm sorry, but Kobe, as busted up as he was, busted Achilles, all the fucking injuries that guy had in his career, his very final game, drops fucking 60.
Yeah.
On the Jazz.
Which is ridiculous.
Shut up. Fuck you.
60 is nuts.
We were rebuilding that year.
Out of all of that, out of all the fucking injuries that guy has had in his career, and then he goes out on his very final game and fucking drops 60. And he hadn't done that in forever.
And how ironic
and it's
was
not
that?
like it's not like the Jazz were like, oh, Kobe's retiring, let's play easy or anything. No, they were playing D and everything.
Yeah.
It was on, but he goes and drops 60 and then leaves in like the last 3 minutes of the game when he got that 60 mark. I'm sorry, but that's why I'm LeBron's been healthy damn near his whole career. Yeah. He's never really had adversity in that regard of dealing with injuries or anything.
LeBron, his build though, and he's a lot like Karl Malone.
He's a fucking linebacker.
How big those dudes are and how built they are. Like, they go to the gym, they work out, they protect themselves in that way. Yeah. And that's another thing with Karl Malone too. You didn't see Karl Malone getting hurt back then, man.
Well, nobody's saying he's not doing the work. I think
no. But that's what I'm saying. But he still doesn't. He hasn't gotten injured like some of these other guys do. You look at KD. You look at some of these other dudes and like how much injuries they've had throughout seasons and how much they haven't been able to play or perform.
But you got to realize though too, ball back then was a little bit slower.
Oh yeah,
just a hair
slower. The pace, like a Malone back in the day. He wasn't running the floor the way you had to run the floor today.
You even go back, look at Larry Bird days, man. Yeah. Like, those dudes were barely making 70, 60 points a game.
You were not running the floor like you have to today. So, I mean, that's a lot of wear on the body. Whereas,
You look at LeBron, though, even when he's playing, though, he doesn't run back and forth to the court, man. Like, he's going to let his crew do the one thing. He's going to sit kind of half court. He's going to wait till he gets back. They're going to pass the ball. He's going to make it.
That's what's going to get interesting now with having Luka on the Lakers, because LeBron runs the floor. For whatever team he's on, he runs the floor. He's playing point, he's playing post, he's playing center, he's playing shooting guard. Like, he's playing it all. But now you got Luka on the team. So he could, in theory, take a step back a little bit and play more of that like shooting guard center kind of role.
Yeah.
Versus a point style role.
Power forward. Yeah. A lot of the different positions he's played.
Exactly. Yeah. So he may be able to actually play less, if that's the right way to put it.
At least they won't be drafting his son probably this year. That was a fuckery.
I think that's still going to happen.
Yeah. I don't know. Another topic, man. Enough with the sports. We've been talking about sports for a minute.
Sorry, can't help it.
What about that fucking Blackhawk that hit that fucking airplane, man?
Oh, yeah. What about that?
It was, I don't know, man. That was pretty fucking crazy. It was.
And here's the odd part is there's been like 2 other fucking
incidences since then,
like FAA incidents since then.
So I don't know. I think it's kind of funny, not funny in a way, but also I think it's kind of, weird. So I heard the guy that just got put in that department. I'm trying to look for his name right now.
I'm not entirely sure myself.
Oh, let me see.
I haven't paid enough attention on that front, but
bear with me for one moment, please.
What are you looking at? I hope the mic picks that up. Your thumbs are on fire.
Maybe.
Which department are you talking about?
I think it was the Department of Transportation. Yeah, so Sean Duffy, which I kind of feel bad for.
Okay.
This guy, Sean Duffy, he had made a comment a few hours before this helicopter and airplane incident, because he is now with the Department of Transportation, how everything's safe, everything's good, everything's, good to go, and then that fucking catastrophe happens. But then now they've been digging into this guy since then. I did not know that he was a reality star from the 90s, that he was on MTV's Real World.
Oh. Well, that's an interesting spot.
Real World, New York,
Interesting spot to come from.
So it was, it's a little weird. Just looking at that and the shenanigans that he's in, but I don't know. Just maybe about some of these people that are getting put in these positions that maybe aren't too qualified, but some of them are, some of them aren't. I don't know.
I think a lot of it, I think some of the reason why putting some of these people in is just getting away from the normal, they've been in this area or in this position for 20 plus years. They're part of the system.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. Let's change it up and put somebody else in there that's not a part of the system and blah, 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 blah. Will it work? Only time will tell. We got a few years to see.
I kind of feel bad for the guy, though.
So, yeah, I don't know.
He was like, everything's going to be safe. And then all of a sudden it fucking, the Black Hawk and the plane collided.
Yeah.
And then there was another incident in Pittsburgh.
And did you see the video of that shit that went down on that?
Which one?
Did you see the video of the
No.
Yeah, dude, no, that was crazy watching that. I know that they did say supposedly that the helicopter was flying too high.
It was right by the airport, man. Did you
know.
see those people could see the fucking landing? Like, could you imagine that? You see the landing pad, you think you're going to land soon, you're in the green, you're in the clear, and then fucking boom.
Yeah. Well, the difference in altitude from what I was reading was only like 25 or 50 feet.
See, I heard 200. So again,
I heard one was at 3 and the other was at 350. But herein lies also the inconsistency in reporting and having to vet your reporting sources. But also to Derek's point, I know you had mentioned when we were speaking about this earlier that he had also served in government in some other capacities and in law in some way. So I'm 100% with you. I think a person should be hired for these positions based on qualification, but also it is good to get, fresh blood in the government because, all of the my team, your team needs to go away.
It does.
No, and the only thing I'm saying is, the guy kind of got set up for failure. Because he said everything's good, we're good, and then all of a sudden, a couple hours later, he could never have predicted that. Like that was a fucking that was something that was unpredictable, something that just happened that nobody ever expected. And now they're fucking roasting this guy. Like fuck, I wish I was on fucking The Real World in the '90s. That would have been a fucking party, bro.
Roasting him, and then you get a lot of the conspiracy theorists out there that are like, "Oh, this is all this is all done intentionally to make it look bad."
And it's fucking like all these protests, all these riots, everybody fucking freaking out. Like
it's weird.
It's really weird.
Here's weird.
Here's my take on it. I have my opinions about some things that are done and ramped up intentionally by parties of interest for their interests in politics, and it does happen. Right. I don't think it's abnormal for the kind of protests that are happening because I witnessed similar ones in my younger years where I grew up for kind of similar topics. And
during the 9/11 era and all that. Figured as much.
And there's a lot of folks I know over there that are, kind of victims of circumstance in the sense that they were, brought to the country as children by parents or however they migrated over, that are really good people, and it sucks for them. But, it's hard to draw that line with protecting everybody being, following the laws and how should we do this so that we take care of our own, because ultimately we really need to take care of our domestic stuff.
Yeah. I get
really
to that
bad.
point, but so
like
going
take care of your house first, bro, before you start
but at the same time,
getting all out there.
At the same time, there's got to be a good policy that would somehow be able to draw the line better between those who may be here illegally. If they've been here for decades and they can prove that they're functioning, as our society expects them to in our borders, can there be some way to allow those people
I have
to
a
stay?
rant on that.
Reagan did something very similar to that back in the 80s. He granted amnesty to a shit ton of people that were already in this country.
'Cause I personally know
I don't
people
know the
who
ins and outs of like what were the steps to it.
Yeah.
Like what were the stipulations on it.
Well,
but
I personally know people who I would vouch for to
So-
have that status.
I was personally affected by this, right? So my ex was an illegal. I'll say this, like the first to say this. So
you harbor.
no, so her parents brought her over here when she was a very small child on a visa that was just like a visiting visa. Her mom was trying to get away from the horrible shit that was going on there from this or that. Well, she never reestablished her visa because she couldn't, right? So then she was here as like an illegal alien. The only reason I knew, my ex-wife was as white as me. So like I was, first with her looking in her car, I see her have her license and her fucking cup holder, and it was a driving privilege card. And then like, so I knew it then. She told me like 4 months later, she was like, so I got something to tell you. And I'm like, no, I already know. It's a driving privilege card. Like, I know what's going on, but I'm just saying, so me as an American citizen, I had to deal with immigration for 7 years. I've never been treated like such a piece of shit walking into a fucking building being an American citizen as I have talking to those guys.
Yeah.
And just like, oh, are you getting paid off for this? Are you this? Are you this?
Well,
I went to prison while I was fucking trying to get her citizenship. And they were like, oh yeah, that's probably not real. Like, you're kind of a piece of shit. Like, I missed her fucking like, we had a huge meeting to get her citizenship, and then Derek ends up in prison, right?
Oh, yeah.
So like, they kind of saw it then, but like I've never been treated that bad, and like it's a lot of work. I mean, some of these people. So me personally, I would have to help her. It was like $1,200 a year just to get a work permit,
Wow.
which she would still pay taxes on. Which she would still do everything, but we'd have to go get biometrics done every year. Mm-hmm. We'd have to go get her a new license every single year. We would have to go pay them every single year about $1,200-$1,300 just so she could work.
Wow.
Right? And she would pay the same taxes everybody else would. But it was just, I don't know, man. It was fucking hard because I went through it firsthand, for like 7 years.
So you could look at it as that's why they want to keep that going on in the country, because look at all that money the Fed just got.
No, yeah, it's a lot of money.
Just off you. Now,
Well, not just the Fed, but the state.
Now-
Your
Yeah.
locality, too.
And then
So-
you're hiring immigration lawyers on top of that.
So let's put that to scale.
No, exactly.
How much money that funnels to the Fed.
Well, I don't have a way. Like, I don't have
I
the
kind of
answer
see maybe
for
why
this.
they're so anti against that now.
So it's a
Never
lot of money,
thought of it
man.
that way.
It's
That's a lot of fucking money.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I personally dealt with that for it. So it took us, I went to prison. I had a few things here and there. But so from me marrying her to when she became a legal citizen, like I saw some people from other countries, like some Asians get it in a year. Like other people get it in this. It took us 7 fucking years to get her citizenship.
Yeah.
And it was tough, man. It
She from
was
Colombia?
No, she was from Mexico. Was from like she was from Merida, Costa Rica. Like no, the Cancun, not Costa Rica, but like the Cancun area. But it was just the simple fact that her parents brought her over here, and it was never her decision, but her parents let her visa run out to where her parents got citizenship at that point, and she was just kind of
That's fucked.
hanging because what are you going to do? Take your kid back to Mexico, then
Yeah.
you fuck your citizenship,
Yeah.
and then your kid might not be able to come back.
Yep.
So it was years and years and years of her just in a limbo, which is kind of fucked.
See,
you know?
I feel, but what I'm gathering from this is the lucrative amount of money that is funneled from that.
No, it's ridiculous, man. So every year I'd be
Just
like,
an absurd.
I looked at her and I'd be like, so I have taxes on top of that work permit every single year.
Yeah.
And you're kind of getting treated shittier because your employers know you have a work permit.
So yeah, very lucrative.
It's really interesting how they assess those fees. I don't have the answer.
No.
And I'm very interested in protecting our borders from those who intend to do us harm, because there are plenty of those. And they take advantage of other thoroughfares from people who are coming here not with the intentions of doing us harm, but with the intentions of bettering their way of life. If you're not going about that the proper way, then that's not good. You should be going about it the proper way.
Yes, I agree.
But it's really unfortunate that those who intend to do us harm are taking advantage of those thoroughfares for the people who really are just trying to escape, awful situations, third world kinds of situations, and just with a dream to come,
Have
do
the
better.
American dream.
Yeah.
But see, and that's where, so Derek, you got to experience it. You're kind of on a different fence of it, I guess, so to say. Like, I'm at the point where I just say, just restart it all. Just get them all out. Get the ones out that shouldn't be here and just restart it.
Well,
Then you can fix, then on Derek's side of things, you can try and revamp and fix that so it's not some freaking Ponzi scheme on that front there, to where then the people that do actually want to come over here because they are getting away from something that's terrible down in their area, we have just a new system that is just, it's black and white, like this is how it is, versus now where it's just so muddled.
Bro, you think
It's-
about it too?
It's just so muddled with everybody kind of, in terms of what I've seen, it just kind of all gets roped into one. Like, I've coyoted. My previous profession, I have coyoted because of birthright.
Yeah.
I've done that plenty of times down at the fucking San Diego border. Bringing a fucking pregnant girl that's in labor somehow, some way. She's a Mexican citizen, comes to the border saying that she's having a baby. Guess what? American ambulance comes, fucking picks her up and takes her to an American hospital. There we go.
Yeah.
I've done that plenty of times. Like, the system is broken, and that's why I say it needs a reset.
No, it needs a reset.
So, unfortunately, for a reset, all out, American citizen here.
Well, it's,
and then find a new way to allow what it used to be.
A lot of people think that we're heartless.
Properly.
So I dealt with her family trying to come here on visas too, right? Her family trying to come here on visas. If you're in Mexico and you don't have a solid job that you've worked at for tons of years, and it's not something that like sustains your family, if you don't have a house, if you don't have any like cars, and you got to tell the Mexican government all this shit that you have, and they've got to approve your visa to come to America in the first place. So like a lot of her family members were successful, like running banks, running businesses, running this, running that, but we wouldn't let them in. Because it was like Mexico wouldn't grant them the visas.
Yeah, because they
come
didn't
over because they were like
wanted to be outsourced over to America.
So they were like, you got to have something to come back to.
Yeah,
or else we're not letting you go.
Yeah.
Let's look at the other side of this. There's people also who were brought over here against their will as children. This is all they know. They don't know anybody back in their homeland.
I can't say against their will. Because you're a child. Nothing is against your will as a child. It is at the care of the parent. Because if you say against their will, I'm just going to say this right now with the whole transgender thing. Some child saying, my mom, my dad didn't let me fucking have my fucking gender-affirming care.
Okay,
they forced me. So that's why I can't go on the whole, they were brought here against their will.
I will be the first person to say that migration against your will as a minor with no voice for yourself is way different than gender affirming care. I'll draw the line between those with anybody any day.
I'll throw it down a little bit more to the home front. Look at military brats.
Well, no, you're sectioning it off just a little too thin, I think. But I understand where you're coming from.
I'm not trying.
My older sister was actually born in Keflavik, Iceland.
See,
but on a military base.
Yeah. But as far as like maybe she loved it there at the time when she was growing up, and then all of a sudden they're like, we're going back to fucking America. I don't want to go to America. I love it here with my schoolmates.
Yeah, but if you're 6 years old and you're not legally allowed to make literally any choice for yourself,
then you're not brought here against your will.
Oh, I kind of disagree because and this is easier for me to look at from this perspective because I know somebody, and I'm thinking about this person as we're talking about it. They were a previous coworker, and I know that this is all they know, and they have nobody back over the border. So to kick them out of the country would be catastrophic for this person. They would just be dropping them off over the border and saying, "Figure it out, figure it out."
I believe it.
But
I do.
But they were a small child when they were brought over, and I mean, did you have a choice? Like if your parents wanted to move you from one state to another in the United States,
no, and that's the thing. But then that draws in the line of just the whole fact that you've broken federal law by, and unfortunately, I mean, you look at like even Tom Hooman, who is very staunch, but he even said, he's like, look at the drug dealers I arrest. He's like, I got to separate people all the time from their families.
Member of our.
That's why when I say a reset, unfortunately, it's going to hurt. It's going to suck. It's going to be bad, but to reset it and restart it from anew and just do it from scratch to where you get rid of the bloat from someone like in Derek's situation to the people that do the whole birthright coming over here to insinuate something like that, to even the amount of money that we give for people that aren't even a citizen, especially in the current right now.
This is a horrible joke. I'm not doing manual labor. I'm sorry.
I'm a sycophant when it comes to that. Like, at least when it comes to like doing my yard work and shit.
Yeah, but not for a living.
Nah, not for a living.
I'm sorry.
Nah.
That's where I draw a line.
But
It's not fun, but there's a whole lot of people on.
No, that's why I'm saying it's a sick.
Who could probably do it.
It's a sick joke, is what I'm saying. But at the same time, there's a lot of us Americans that aren't going to take the fucking jobs that they do and the positions that they have in life. It's going to be a fucking system that fails because we're not going to take those jobs, dude.
But when they're there to do it for pennies on the dollar,
exactly.
Versus when that company has to say, "Oh shit, that doesn't exist anymore." Hey. We're going to
find another gray area.
We're going to pay this job $15 to $20 an hour.
We're going to pay a living wage for a barista, but we're not going to for the person responsible for grabbing your produce out of the ground.
Exactly. So, and that's what I mean. Like, places are going to have to actually pony up and say, okay, hey, we're actually going to pay. You're going to be out here in this field for fucking 8 hours. Yeah, we'll pay you like $15 an hour. Or we're going to pay you on X amount of pounds. It'll be like how many
you
pounds.
Think fucking tariffs suck? What do you think when that happens?
Yeah, grocery stores go through.
We're not going to be able to afford to even. You think eggs are expensive right now where we live? Fuck, bro.
I just looked today. They're $7.86.
Yeah. Shut up. Mm-hmm. Where?
I was at Fred Meyer.
Oh, here?
For a dozen? For a dozen, cousin?
Yeah, it was like a dozen or 18. I know, like my sister-in-law, it's like $18 for a dozen.
You know it's like cheaper than paying for a dozen eggs?
Having your own chickens.
The feed for the chickens for a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, But I know a lot of this is going to suck. I have hopes. Even though I'm a realist, I'm also an optimist. And I am optimistic at the fact that if things just finally get reset, the Band-Aid gets ripped off, something that for the last 25 years our government has been kicking the fucking can from doesn't matter what like problem you want to talk about. The federal government has kicked the can for 25 plus years.
We do need a reset.
They have let the wound get so bad it is festering. And either you rip the Band-Aid off or that wound is going to finally become terminal. And there's no going back. Or
just make a program for people that are actually here making a living that can actually afford it.
That's what I'm saying.
Here you go. You can do this. You can do that.
Yeah.
You can. If you oblige to these laws,
yes,
you can stay here.
Yes.
If not, you're going back. That's fair.
I think if you can prove that you've been here for X amount of time and that you're a functioning member of society and you were not out there like getting arrested, being a douchebag, and being a bad person.
There's a lot of that going on.
You should get, ton of it.
Yeah, if you're with the cartel, fuck you, be killed.
Yeah.
We're talking about.
Oh, speaking of that,
hang on.
No.
Sorry.
Hang on.
I'm sorry.
If you're part of that percentage of people who are over here making this country awesome,
yeah,
and
by all means,
especially in those particular circumstances where you were brought over here as a youth and it wasn't your idea. Mm-hmm. Then you should be expedited to the front of the citizenship approval line for vetting.
Now, they're not expedited. You just shouldn't get deported. You shouldn't have to go through that.
No. I think they should take all those people. If you can prove you've been here for 20 years, you work a job.
Yeah, 20 years.
You pay taxes. You're not out being a douchebag and getting arrested every other day, and you have no ties to any terrorist groups that they can. You should get either an approval or a denial pretty quick.
Something popped in my head just real quick when you were mentioning that. If you're like super productive, obviously that's one thing about immigration here to the States is they want to know if you're going to be a productive member. At least that's how it used to be.
Yeah.
If you're going to be,
are you going to fend for yourself?
Are you going to fend for yourself? Does the American government have to foot the bill for you while you're here?
Right.
Okay. And they used to deny people on that.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Sorry, I was just thinking of a line of Once Upon a Time in Mexico. Either you're a Mexican or you're a Mexican.
Yeah.
What are you?
But I'll say this as just given the situation of what may be coming down the pipeline for a lot of people here, the people that have become successful, we'll call it, people that have actually made a living for themselves here. Okay.
Yeah.
If it's established enough, it would be interesting for them in the fact that if they do go back to where they came from, be it in Europe, be it South America, be it wherever, it's money and commerce and business that they get to open up in their area to where, and again, I mean, hey, say it, sound off in the comments. I mean, I'm just spitballing here. But if they get to take that back to where their country of origin is, does that help bring more money, stability, so forth to their country, because now they're having more business and commerce that enters their area? Granted, we would lose it here. They would probably still import and sell to the United States, but as far as their manufacturing, distribution, all that kind of stuff, headquartering, all that other stuff, that would be implied with running with whatever they have. If they are that kind of person going back to wherever they're at, would that help benefit their country of origin at the same time because they're going back there?
Well, it depends, because I think if you look at it from the perspective of if a person was brought over here as a youth and has no ties that they are aware of with people or entities in their country of origin, then they're at that point are going to be leaning on the government to help them until they can get it figured out.
Assuming that, I mean, that's where I'm assuming this person is of age. There's no, doesn't matter if they know anyone or don't know anyone, that kind of thing. They're just an established person.
I think it would be hard to run that kind of thing across like a chart, because it's so unique to individuals. I mean, are they going to be able to be successful, and that's unique to them as a person? Do they have the skill set? Do they have the education? Do they have the training? Do they have disabilities? Do they not have disabilities?
I know, but if they're here and if they're running something and they have something of worth and of value,
yeah. If we kick them out of the country and they're a successful individual here, I doubt they would not be a successful individual in their country of origin. And yeah, if they're successful there, then you would think the math would be in the favor of wherever that was.
Wherever they're going.
Yeah. But you also have to remember that commerce and all kinds of other things are ran differently in different sections of the world.
You name it. It's very different. But that's just kind of my thought process behind it is, even if someone like that gets sent out, I don't think they're going to be bad off in that sense, because if they did it here, they'd probably do it somewhere else. But I think it would benefit their country of origin at the same time.
Well,
to where
that's great. And call me an asshole, but I don't give a shit what benefits their country of origin. I care what benefits our country right now, and I love.
I'm playing a little devil's advocate.
Yeah. But on that same note, I'm not thinking of it from the perspective of how will it benefit, like, Sweden if I send the president of IKEA back over there. Like, I don't care.
Yeah. No,
is it going to hurt us or is it going to help us?
Yeah, true.
I mean, IKEA is IKEA, but if IKEA is doing business in the U.S. and they're paying their taxes, and they're not taking ridiculous subsidies and loopholes, then why not?
There's much gray area. We've all had our experiences in some hand or another.
Amen.
Which is where
Amen.
Some of it kind of formulates from being between yourself there, Greg, or even Derek or myself doing the lives that we've had. And even though we're not of, I'm third generation, I think. I know most of mine came over in like the early 1900s. Something like that. Like my grandmother lived through the Depression here.
Gosh, and you're the folk where you come from helped build an entire section of the Northeast coast there.
Yeah. So I think I'm like second or third, one of the two.
Well, this area used to be called the melting pot. Now it's just a dumpster fire.
It really is.
And I look forward to unity. And I've said this before, but I believe a lot of the stuff that's quote unquote polarized on social media and the news and everything else isn't really.
No.
And I think it's just a pipeline of shit that's being fed to you mostly.
Dude, most of the shit that's quote unquote a big issue, the fucking Democrats use Obama. Big fence down there.
All the presidents are built
control the immigration. That was why I voted for him the first time, was because he had talked about that, and I had lived down in a border town.
All of the presidents have had a portion of building this fence or wall or whatever
it may be. Yeah. They've all talked about it.
I wish we just would have bought pieces of it when they took it down, and we just held it there, and now we
resell it.
Yep.
I would have put it up as my fence in my front yard. And
You just put pictures of snarling dogs on
Can you imagine the shipping cost if you would have done that?
Oh boy, that would have been expensive. So, I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. I think with having a piece of border fence in my front yard, we may call that a night.
Indeed.
Indeed.
Well, until next week, we will be here Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Again, if you made it this far, please like, share, subscribe, follow whatever platform you are on.
Tell a fucking friend.
Tell a friend. Tell a friend. Maybe they'll like it. If you didn't and you made it this far, man.
Somebody's got to.
If they made it this far and they don't like us, man, hats off to you. Hats off to you.
Yeah.
Let us know.
If you if you made it this far, let us know in the comments or at boardroombanter@gmail.com.
Let us know how to keep going.
Exactly. And with that, we'll see you guys next week. We love you.